Oh crap, my brain just froze and I pressed record. What the fuck? Alright. This is so bad.
In a world full of winners and losers, two men have risen above. No kidding. Damn it.
I'm gonna leave this in there. But anyway, this is the Square Circle Podcast. You are listening to Marie Shadows, your host. We are joined by Epik, Jill, and Russ. We are here to talk about everything in professional wrestling. It is our passion, where we get to share it all together every single week. And also, happy Halloween, guys.
Happy Halloween.
Trick or treat, give me that candy, son.
Yeah.
Trick or treat, smell my feet, give me something good to
Where's it
eat.
at?
Hey. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh man, I miss those. Some people tend to ruin Halloween with their political bullshit. I actually miss that. Anyway,
It's not needed.
Moving on.
it was nice and fun back in the day. Okay, nice and fun. Anyway,
Yeah,
A whole bunch of kids with Richard Nixon masks saying, "I'm not a crook."
damn, dude.
Just hearing them in the background, just like,
I
"I'm
am
not a
not a
crook." I'm like, easy there, easy.
And this is a wonderful segue into talking about WWE Crown Jewel. I personally did not watch it this year. I did watch it last year and wrote an article about it. But this year, I was getting caught up with some other wrestling promotions. But I personally, well, before we talk about the ending, AlphaRuss, do you want to talk about the women's match?
This is a big deal.
It is.
I would like to say this is, of course, a couple years ago they did. It was Sasha Banks versus I think actually was Natalia. I think in that one as
Bailey?
well. No,
it was
Natalia. In another
Crap.
country that they really never did a women's match before, but they wore bodysuits. Now, the one thing that bothered me a bit, and I know must have been like a last minute kind of a deal, which I mean, it is what it is. I'm not gonna pick any brains on it, but just the fact that they put like, and I'm not even making this up. You can look up the photos. Literally like the smallest logo of the Hart Foundation logo, Bret Hart logo on Natalia, and then like a generic Lacey Evans logo that's like 2 times smaller than the shirt.
Yeah.
Just kind of like, I mean, but it is what it is. But for those that who kind of been following Raw's women's division, well, not anymore now because Lacey's going to SmackDown. This was a rivalry that has been happening for the last 2 months, and a couple good matches here and there. A very horrible one on the premiere. But out of all of them, I think that this match, I watched about 3/4 of it. I didn't get to see the ending, but on the Twitter, official WWE Twitter, it showed what happened after the match. Lacey Evans breaking kayfabe, which very rarely you see in WWE anymore.
Yeah.
Just breaks down in tears, and there's Natalia, and they're celebrating. Like, this is this is a bigger moment than I think the media will take as is, because I mean, you know, everyone's against certain things that Saudi Arabia has done. I'm not going to go into politics of that, but you know, it's a big deal because that can open up doors for like companies like Ring of Honor and Impact that who have a women's division to potentially go entertain smaller venues down the line, which I think WWE's definitely helping that aspect out, because I doubt Impact or Ring of Honor would leave out the women's division now, especially in that kind of thing.
Are you saying that they're opening the doors because they're in Saudi Arabia that eventually other partnerships can happen with other wrestling companies? Right?
No, I'm saying
Oh.
the ability that they're actually gonna be able to uh, have other promotions come over and understand, like, okay, these are the guidelines that the government of the Prince of Saudi Arabia approves of. You have to get special permission from the government, et cetera, for women's matches, a stricter guideline on attire in terms of the women's division match. But it does open up the door for that.
Oh,
It does
okay.
open up the door for
All right, because I knew,
women's wrestling to happen in Saudi
yeah.
Arabia.
Which, by the way, I never really thought of it like that because I think it's, despite whatever Saudi Arabia does is not really our place, but like because it's entertainment and you're getting lost in this awesome reality that is wrestling. Yeah, I didn't think of it like that. There could be doors opening for other companies if they ever want to pursue that. And it doesn't only have to be with Saudi Arabia too. It could be somewhere in Spain or in Italy, somewhere else. So yeah, I mean, I didn't really think about it that way. Um, I did notice that on Twitter someone captured a moment when a fan threw a water bottle at Natalia, and Natalia's face was just like, "Really?" I was like, "Oh, come on, man."
Well, I mean, in a country which currently right now in the Middle East alone, there's over 17 out of the 45 countries that make up the Middle East that are very strict in the what I can't remember the name of the laws, but most women have to wear what is known as a hijab, and
Yeah, I know that. Yeah,
only their eyes can be seen, which I think that's Sharia law. There you go. That's what I was.
yeah.
But I find it that if I could end it right here,
Go ahead.
saying I definitely think this has opened doors for women's wrestling to grow inside of a community, in this case, a country's community that is, even though they're very tightly like to the law of Sharia law, they're going to be able to make waves, and we might see the next Becky Lynch coming from Saudi Arabia, or someone like that.
Yeah, I totally get that. This thing should be picking up my voice. I got my desktop speakers on. They should be picking up my voice, even though I got my headphones. All right. Well, yeah, I gotta hear you guys. Anyway, this is probably going to be a bit of a spoiler for anyone that's listening to us when this goes up, and I know that both Epik and Geo have yet to watch the full Crown Jewel, but the ending, is it good we go to the ending?
Yeah, we could go to the ending real quick.
All right, so at the ending, I don't know. Well, I think the Fiends finishes the Mandible Claw and whatnot. That picked up that allowed him to pick up the victory against Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is no longer our Raw Universal Champion. Now the Fiend is. So my question is to everyone here that wants to input is, do you think it's a little too late?
To repair the damage that happened at Hell in a Cell.
Yeah. I feel like with this event emanating on Halloween, and not only that, with their first DLC for WWE 2K20 coming out this past Tuesday, it kind of made sense in a way because it's the perfect storm to actually put the belt on the Fiend. The only question I have now, in the reaction videos that I watched a little bit before we got on air, one of the people, Lori Blake from Wrestle Talk, which is we'll give him a mad shout out because we love those guys over in the pond.
Yeah.
He said something that really resonated with me in their predictions video. He said that if the Fiend wins this match, does that mean there's going to be another trade? So that way he can keep the title belt, because the last thing they need is honestly a vacant belt.
Yeah.
So
Unless they're gonna create a whole new Raw champion. But
kind of like when the WWE champion was drafted over to Monday Night Raw, when it was John Cena that was the champion, and then kind of like a 360 kind of deal.
Yeah.
I could see that happen.
I don't think Lesnar's going anywhere, especially with what Fox is willing to put in for their pool for SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think two things are going to happen. So either Fiend goes back to Raw and defends on Raw, or they deem it invalid because he's a SmackDown superstar and the title goes back as vacant, which would be a stupid move. But I mean, given the fact that there's a lore for I don't know what it is what they want to do with the Fiend character as of right now, which is unbelievably stupid. They had something great going, and now they're just beating it to the ground.
Yeah, I know. I don't know how to feel about it. Even when I saw it on Twitter, I couldn't really react as if, I would have been happy at Hell in a Cell if he would have got it then, because it felt right. Even if, it may have been too early for the Fiend to get it. But now that you crowned, the Fiend, the champion at Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia, that sort of takes it away from us in a way, because WWE always had these house shows, and they always did the Fiend versus Seth Rollins, but there was never a change there. It would have been probably a little bit better to have maybe a title change at a house show, just so we could get the hype, and then maybe in an alternate universe, the freaking Fiend was champion coming into Crown Jewel as that and retains it. I think that would have probably been better. I just don't know where we go from here. And I also want to mention too that I get those WWE emails that tell me what's going to be happening on SmackDown. So apparently Bray Wyatt is going to be a guest on Miz TV.
But the Fiend is the WWE champion. His alter ego. But is Bray going to be carrying the championship?
I don't know. That's a very good question. If Bray is going to be carrying the championship, it's going to be what happened?
It's like he has two personalities. There's Bray Wyatt, the fire, fun, happy person. There's the dark entity known as the Fiend. And since he is now the new Universal Champion, the question is, should there be a trade? It would make sense because you don't have a top champion on Raw. You just have the women's, the tag team, I believe the United States. So the outcome could be okay. Maybe Bray's going to announce that the Fiend is going to be drafted to Raw, and probably with that exchange, you could have Seth be drafted to SmackDown, which ideally puts him on this, would put him on the same brand as Roman, and then
Yeah.
you just have to figure what would you do with Seth? Because technically Seth lost to a SmackDown Super. That's like cross promoting overseas. So I've been trying to play that out. Okay, because the screw up that happened at Hell in a Cell, they had to put the match can't be stopped no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was something that I think a lot of people really had an issue with the ending of the Hell in a Cell, because
Yeah.
they should have owned up to it and said, "Hey, made a mistake. Oops."
Yeah. And then
So,
to pick it,
I'm like, huh?
I had wanted
Today it
to.
was a referee stoppage.
Yeah. I had wanted to piggyback off that for you, Russ, because two things. One, that's why this podcast got started, because I got pissed off at Hell in a Cell. Two, you are 100% right in that they should have owned up to it, because now the fans all turn on Rollins and putting all the blame on him, and in the background putting blame on Vince or whoever made the call. But now Seth is in this weird. I don't know.
He's in the same wheelhouse that Roman was in, and then obviously Roman announcing his leukemia came back, and
Yeah.
and like everyone was like, we can't be mad at a guy that who came back from cancer once and gave at it again. So it's I kind of feel bad for Seth, because he doesn't have anything like an injury to kind of like just say, hey, look, sorry. But I think what's going to happen is, because, and I did look at the GIF. Someone posted like multiple angles of the Sister Abigail to the concrete.
Oh, okay.
And from the looks of it, that the way the Fiend executed that that variation of the Sister Abigail, it made it look like it literally popped his head off his shoulders. I think what's gonna happen is they're gonna say like Seth has an injury, but we have to also announce that he's gonna be traded to SmackDown, and then you're gonna give him this couple month break, because I mean, obviously from looking at it from their standpoint, with the fact that Sasha had a 3-month break.
Yeah.
Finn Balor had a 2-month break, and I honestly think for this heat, especially this type of heat that he got, I think he needs to be out of it till a little bit before, I would say, either the Royal Rumble, or I would say the night, or like make a matchup happen for WrestleMania.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. He needs time off TV, especially time, maybe some time away from the business, because I'm not agreeing with everything that he's been saying. Which, it definitely sounds like a company man, and I totally get it. Sometimes when you work for a company and you enjoy what you do, of course you're gonna be like, this is the best company to work for. Oh, you should come work here. I totally get that. But we're in the day and age where everything is on the internet and everything gets criticized and talked about, that, it's kind of hard to say now what's the best company out there. And, to even go after AEW and Kenny about like Kenny hasn't proved anything because he wasn't in WWE. And it's like, why are you burying yourself? Like, I don't know, man. I think that sometimes.
I think he forgets about the fact that he came from ROH.
Yeah, I think that's what I have a problem with.
He does have Japan experience. A lot of people are like he didn't wrestle Japan. He didn't have that. No, he actually did.
Yeah.
He wrestled, I think, a total of 4 tours. He did his last tour before he went to WWE was with when Ring of Honor was with Noah, and that was the year before they announced the New Japan deal, which I kind of find very ironic about that.
Yeah.
But I mean, there was even talks. I guess Ring of Honor wanted him to be there to actually, which this was something that I read. Meltzer would have to look this up, but some sources were saying back in those days before they announced that Seth Rollins, aka Tyler Black, who was in the Indies, was actually going to get scheduled to become Noah's first Gaijin world champion.
Oh, wow.
Obviously, years later, that went to Eddie Edwards. But yeah, that was a big deal, and like he was actually supposed to be the first person to be a 2-time Ring of Honor World Champion as well.
Yeah, because damn, who was it? I don't know why I want to say Austin Aries was the first one to be a 2-time.
Cole, I think.
The first one to be a 2-time?
Was, hold on, I'll have to look this up, but I think it was Jay Briscoe.
It might have been one of the Briscoes, yeah. Which by the way, they're cool. They're cool in real life, man. They're cool people.
Yeah, they're the coolest people.
Yeah. They gave me a hug during the big event when they weren't really supposed to be there, and I mean I was never told to tell that story, but you know they gave me a hug for that one. Yeah, they gave me a hug. Yeah. But I kind of wanted to talk more about like Seth Rollins' comments and how you guys feel about it as a whole. Where like he says that the fans whine for everything, which is true. You got to weed out the idiots, which I'm going to call them idiots. And if I get heat for that, that's totally fine. And then you got to weed out all the other ones and stuff. But did Seth Rollins' comments bother any of you guys?
Not really.
I was surprised he
because
called, all elite wrestling not like a big deal, like he brushed it off, not something that could be equal to WWE. Yeah, WWE's like top notch, but AEW is has a good fan base. It's growing, the end is good, and it's getting like known all over with different billboards. He probably could have said it very differently than how he said it. Maybe to him, he wasn't like bothered. Maybe he just wanted to see what kind of, I don't it bother me. It's just, he's been in like this rut. Like last year, everybody loved Seth, Intercontinental Champion. He won the Royal Rumble this year. Defeated Brock Lesnar. Now it's just like, you hear Seth Rollins, like, we don't like you, Seth. I like Seth, but it's just, if you're going to dig and dig and dig, how far do you dig? That's just my take.
And lately, it seems like, and I'm looking at Becky Lynch's in real life fiance, and a lot of the things that she's been saying
are super annoying. I'm sorry.
I know, but it's like I kind of realized that I think they're gonna do the first intergender like double turn, because you look at how cocky Becky Lynch is getting, and plus no one doesn't realize this, she only had one good heel run in NXT when she debuted with Dana Brooke. That's a trivia question for y'all, by the way, and Sasha Banks, I should say also. But just looking at her Twitter, like she's upping herself like she is like the best thing since sliced bread, and
Yeah, she is doing that. She came after JR. She praised JR and then basically told him off. And I was like, oh God, can you please stop? Like at this point, it doesn't even seem like entertaining where I could get behind her and I could be like, yeah, you did prove it. You are, the man. Even though it's you, it's wrong, but okay. But after a while, it's just like you need something new. You need something fresh. This whole attitude of you being the baddest bitch there is not going to last very long because someone else is going to come along and knock you off your throne. It happens in real life. Like, she really wants it to be real life. It's going to end up being that way unless WWE protects their assets. God, I don't know why that got me upset.
I think.
Yeah, you sound very upset
this is
about
definitely going to be a double heel turn because, like I think it's already happened with Becky, but like from a far away perspective, because you're starting to hear that the boo, hearing them boo, and I think what's happening is, especially for this Raw Women's title picture right now, you noticed in the draft, Charlotte was drafted back to Raw.
Yeah.
So I think they're trying to redo this Flair babyface Lynch heel type of deal because, a lot of people are starting to say like, well, the man thing's kind of getting annoying, like she's only showing one emotion, that's ass kicker. Sometimes pardon my French, by the way, too, but the one thing I always remembered, someone told me in radio TV class about acting in general, if you have an actor that only works on one gear, then you need to start looking at other people to replace them in future movies, which that says a lot.
It does.
And the fact that they want Charlotte to be like this, to be like in the same Twilight as her father. I think another reign is going to happen before the end of the year.
Yeah, probably, maybe.
I think this is going to be her longest reign to date. The only reason why I'm saying that is because Ric Flair only had two title reigns that were very long, and ironically enough, it was his WWE championship run and then his second to last run as the World Heavyweight Champion WCW.
Yeah.
Or not true. WCW, NWA. I apologize.
But either way, it was one of those two. Yeah, it was one of those two, NWA or WCW. Because every time you see the big belt on SmackDown, you're like, oh, that's Ric Flair's belt. Like I've always called it the Ric Flair belt because he always held it. But yeah, I just felt like it's way too much company, like company man being presented to try to tell people WWE is the best when it's like WWE get your shit together. Because right now you are in this war that you don't want to admit. And like I don't even have to talk about ratings. It's just a matter of feeling the products out and knowing what you want to watch more than the other. But now I might have to really, really watch NXT because of Finn Balor and because of what Rigo announced on NXT for the women, which right now they're doing historical things. But that heel turn that Balor's doing, when he said that he doesn't watch the business, the business watches him. That I was like, oh shit, that's super powerful,
Mm-hmm.
I was shocked that he turned. Like, my mouth dropped out.
They said people that were in the building last Wednesday for that heel turn, a lot of people said as Johnny Gargano was getting carted out, like it was that type of silence that only like a small audience atmosphere can do.
Yeah.
because they said you could hear a pin drop, and because it was just that silent, which makes this heel turn all so much better, because I think in theory what's happening is we're going to slowly see and it's not going to happen this upcoming NXT takeover, because I think they're going to wait it out till the end of the year and then do the first one in, I think it would be January, middle of January. I think that's when the 2020 Royal Rumble happens. But I think what's going to happen is you're going to see Roderick Strong lose the North American title to Velveteen Dream. Probably not. I think what's going to happen is Roderick Strong's definitely going to be facing Keith Lee. I've seen one of their few matches on PWG. It was a very entertaining match. And screw Meltzer when I say this. That match was actually a 5-star match. Like, he gave it like, I think it was a 4.3. I was like, you got to be kidding me, Meltzer! Come on, that had everything.
I mean,
like, it had everything.
I mean, we're gonna have
he's a perfectionist, though.
Yeah, we're gonna have to sprinkle, some freaking Young Bucks merch onto that to make it a 5-star match.
Give him some flip flops.
Yeah,
flip flops.
Which, by the way, I will say on this podcast, I will buy those flip flops. I need those Young Bucks money flip flops, and I also need, like, I want the money too, but you
would like to have the flip flops.
Yeah, I would too, man. I would love to have that, but let's wait to AEW for that, for all that kind of stuff. But I want to ask you, Russ, if you can recommend me a match that, like, Keith Lee had that was good, because he did wrestle in the Indies, right? Or like,
yes.
is okay, because I can't get behind this guy, and I have no idea why. And if you could give me like a match, maybe like I could watch it and see if I could like get behind him.
Honestly, I would say watch all 3 of his matches in NXT with Donovan Dijak. Those matches were really good. I think hold on here, I might be mistaken. Oh, okay. And Ricochet versus Keith Lee during the now defunct, may it rest in peace, Defiant Wrestling at the time, Pro Wrestling, it was WCPW, What Culture Pro Wrestling, Pro Wrestling World Cup USA bracket round 2. That they did 2 years ago between him and Ricochet. That was actually a really good match. And also, I think, and I might be mistaken, this might the only, like, in terms of YouTube full-length match, their only matchup between Keith Lee and Brian Cage, which by the way, I know this is on the bracket, but mad love to Sami Callihan for finally winning the big one.
Oh yeah. I totally forgot about that.
Won the big one, folks.
Oh my god.
He's a draw now.
Yeah.
A real draw.
Yeah. I totally forgot about that. I was passing by on my Twitter timeline. Yeah. So congratulations.
Come on the show. We would greatly appreciate it.
I mean, if I could reach out to him, that'd be great. I'd probably do that. We'll see what happens. I don't know.
I know.
I mean, still on the topic of like NXT or whatnot. This is a promo shout out as well. I'm not getting paid for this at all, but it was announced that November 9th and November 10th, Evolve will be at Queens and Brooklyn, and they're going to be having Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano, and Ciampa there to do autograph signings on November 9th. And on November 10th, Adam Cole will be doing a seminar. by the way, it's not paid. Like, I'm not getting paid to say this. It's just that I wanted to
This is
throw.
not a paid thing.
It's not. I just wanted to throw it out there because I would love to get those guys on the podcast just to talk about stuff. And I hope that it can go through and we could actually get that done. And I still like the fact that they're utilizing Evolve. Evolve is homegrown. Gabe, who does the booking over there and everything, he's still a good guy and everything. I used to help out for Evolve and being like part of the ring crew and just helping out people and stuff like that. So yeah, Evolve is coming back. Well, probably not coming back. They've probably been doing shows and I don't know. But that's what's happening. For any fans out there, listening to this, if you want to try to get their attention to have them come on the podcast, all you have to do is just like retweet, comment. That's like the freest form of paying us back in a way.
Yep.
Let me see. So the women in NXT are still great. They're still exciting, and because Mayhem have broken out during the last episode, William Regal was like, "We're gonna have war games." This is the first time ever women are gonna be in a war games style gimmick match, whatever you want to call it. What are your thoughts, guys?
I love it. I'm ready for it.
I like it, but I have some issues with one particular competitor that's in the match, and of course, it is the bestest.
You gotta tell me who that is. Hold on, who's the bestest?
Her name escapes me real quick, but I apologize in advance.
It's okay, because I haven't...
Bianca Blair. There you
go.
Oh,
she's called... Oh, that's right. That makes sense.
The bestest.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel like this was like out of nowhere stealth turn, and I think the only reason why I say that is because the fact that as soon as Rhea Ripley came on to NXT TV here in the States, I think both Io Shirai and Bianca just kind of see the fact that they're trying to steal her thunder, it's kind of the and I like to use this because it's a great analogy. It's the Cassius Ono theory, which is you have this world traveler striker, you have and he's going to be established. He's going to be established person to push talent, everything. And then you get these new shiny toys, and everyone's like, "Cassius who?"
Okay.
And I think that's their spot right now, is because Cassius, and I've seen Cassius in person before. He's a tremendous athlete.
He is.
Like throughout the years, no matter big or skinny or slightly muscular, he will still go at that same gear that he's known for since his early days in Ring of Honor.
Yep.
And CCW too. But I think that's the position that Io Shirai and Bianca Blair is in. So I think the fact that they did that is kind of interesting thing that they can do, because that could play as a role to eventually tear down the four horsewomen down once and for all. Well, in this case, the three, and that could make it into where Shayna Baszler is gonna lose the NXT Women's title eventually. But the question is, whoever gets that pinfall on her, which I'm assuming that's gonna be the finish. Someone's gonna pin or tap out Shayna Baszler. But the question is who?
Yeah. Because we also have Candice in here too, right?
Mm-hmm. It's Candice LeRae, Rhea Ripley, and Team Kick.
Yeah. Dakota Kai and I don't know the other chick's name. I'm so sorry.
Tia, no?
Tegan.
Yeah.
Tegan Knox.
AKA Lady Kane.
Yes.
I love
Lady
her
Kane.
choke slams. They're just the best.
Wow, you don't
Like-
see that often when we're doing a choke slam.
Yeah, like she's like 5. I think she's like 5'8", 5'9", around my height. And she could lift some girls up. Like I sat there, I'm like, she's going to heaven. Nope, she's going down.
Damn, dude. Okay. She going to heaven.
She going to heaven? I don't think so. Like I personally believe if there was ever one intergender match between Drake Maverick and Tia Knox, she would send him straight to hell.
Oh my god.
And I will applaud and give her like a fake Oscar and say that was the best performance. 5 stars, like 10 stars.
And we all know that Drake Maverick would like.
Sir.
We all know that Drake would love it. He'll love it.
Yeah, he would. unless the 24/7 title is round her waist, then that would be even more.
That'd be funny.
Yeah.
That belt, man. I thought I was gonna hate that belt, but that belt is pretty cool to just have around.
But anyway, no.
Yeah.
Something that a lot of people pointed out was there's 5 girls for Team Baszler, and then there's for Rhea's team it's only 4 girls. So that's opening a lot of questions for who might actually be on their team. And it strikes me as ironic. They just signed to NXT. I just had her name. Shotzi Blackheart.
Oh, that's right. She did. Yeah. I know who she
means if and she's been in Evolve for a while now, so you might assume she might be one of the only few that actually will get to debut and not spend too much time in the WWE Performance Center.
Yeah.
I think she's going to be the mystery partner for Team Ripley, because they're going to set it up, say like, well, we've looked far and wide for a tag team partner. We were confused. We didn't know what to do. We needed someone who knows how to cause chaos in a war.
That's her.
Or in this case, have the balls to do it. And then comes out Shotzi Blackheart in her tank and chicken. By the way, yeah, she has a chicken additionally to the tank. Which, if you follow Shotzi Blackheart on Instagram, you'd see it and you'd be like, she had all that? She's going to NXT? Wow.
How do you guys feel about Shayna Baszler still being NXT Women's Champion?
I think
she might break Asuka's record. But
it took 2 reigns to break the record, though. I mean, Asuka had it in like one single reign.
Yeah.
But I think it's one of those things. It's like you kind of hate Baszler like on a kayfabe level, and you want to see who can dethrone Baszler at this point. It's a game at this point, and it's a good game, because like Baszler, like she's not particularly like a bad wrestler at all. She can draw heat, she can draw attention, like it's there. And then at this point of the game right now, it's just like, okay, well, you've lined up a whole bunch of competitors in front of Baszler, and she's been able to knock them all off, and it upsets you, but now it's just like, what's next?
I'm waiting for who's gonna step up. Whoever that person beats Baszler for the champ, they will be the division will be going after the new champ, which we still don't.
But it's like, I think they threw Io Shirai too early into the title picture mix. It was good for that point, but I felt like much like Russ stated earlier, it's like, okay, well, they're probably going to be there to help grow and enhance the talent that they have on the roster, which okay, cool, I guess. But at the same time, it's just like, okay, well, you have a mountain of talent. You should be able to use them, effectively and accordingly. I understand that there's probably a few women on the roster that probably shouldn't get that shot yet, but if they look at the track record for, let's just say, New Japan Pro Wrestling, for example, for any new champion, like they'll throw people into that mix. Like it doesn't matter which kind of champion it is. Let's just say like the heavyweight championship. Like before they get to the bigger names, they'll throw in a few jobbers in there and give them a shot, just to add to, the fact that that this guy can defend, this guy could go and whatever. And it'll be the same for like the junior heavyweight right now. I think like Bushi put his name in the hat to go up against Osprey right now, and Osprey's just like, at first he was like, nah, and then he was like, yeah, you know what? After we're done Super Junior Tag League, okay, yeah, you'll get your shot. But I think like, because like for Bushi and LIJ, like I don't know if he's really that big of a draw, except maybe in a few areas where LIJ is popular in Japan. But other than that, it's just like it's whatever. And I felt like they should have done that for a while first before they started going to the well for the bigger names.
Do you want to lead us into some New Japan updates?
As of right now, the current feuds in New Japan as stands. So Kota Ibushi still has his ticket to Wrestle Kingdom. You guys might have saw a jab at that at AEW.
Yeah.
Intercontinental Championship match currently right now is Hiroki Goto versus is in line against Jay White, who is the current champion. The Openweight Championship
that match
is Kenta right now
forward to
versus Tomohiro Ishii, which is I'm also looking forward to that match too. Like I've never seen the Openweight Championship being put, so far up right now the way it has been because of these guys right now. Like no one would really look at that championship and really care for it. I think they tried when they had like Osprey holding it for a little while when he did. Tai Chi.
Well, you're forgetting Jeff Cobb hold it, and then Tai Chi. Then
I forgot about Jeff Cobb. The fact that he didn't hold it for that long.
I think the reason for that was because Jeff wanted to be more a mainland US for about another year, because he said at one point he wants to do a G1 next year, which it might be cool. It will be definitely cool to see him do that.
Yeah.
But I'm noticing this every year around this time. It seems like the big matchups are coming from the never open weight title, and it has like this popularity up until Wrestle Kingdom, and then it's like kind of back to kind of like the slumber until like the New Japan Cup, and then obviously G1, which helps that title in terms of like we need title matches in between these, so it makes sense.
It kind of does. I mean, there are certain times where the promotion will definitely put over that championship, which is good. Yeah. Then there are just times where just like everything takes a back seat, like especially like the Intercontinental Championship, where I felt like Naito could have done a whole lot of a better job if he actually cared about holding a championship, because any championship you hold is just basically just like being yeeted literally like 20 feet.
Oh, God.
I remember the first time he whipped the heavyweight championship before he won the Intercontinental Championship. He was whipping around that heavyweight championship like it was just like absolutely nothing. I'm like, how heavy is that thing, and how high did he toss it?
Everybody says it's super heavy. I would like to hold it one day, just to hold it.
I felt the Intercontinental Championship.
Well, being that both me and Epic have, well, mine being like what I like to call the 75% scale for scale replica of the IWGP titles, I would say they're fairly heavy.
Well, they're still fairly heavy.
Especially the Intercontinental, because they have the I think it's that belt, and the US belt is the only one right now that has the it's 5 tier, like belt metal,
like 5-plated.
yeah, 5 plated, while I think the world title is still 3,
I think that, well, they redid the Intercontinental. They made everything single plated, but they just kind of they did. Jeez, I forgot what that phrase is called, but I think it just says like they just kind of like imprinted the design on sort of thing.
Yeah, like I like the junior and the heavyweight tag team titles, because it's a simple but detailed belt, which I would like to see a more simplistic belts coming out, like NWA, which I know we're going to get to eventually, but
NWA closes the podcast because I know that's your favorite.
That's true, I know. But I love what they did with the women's belt, because it's so simplified, like to a T, and also with that little throwback of the picture of the champion in the middle, where it represents like the crown jewel, the champion, which is cool. I like that, because it in looking in other championship title belts from the past that the NWA has used, that belt has the most common like rarity of them all, because it's that belt was a very hard belt to find, because they switched to what was the former belt with that small, really small plate, and like the 2 other smaller plates. I think that was the early '80s edition belt. I think I might be mistaken, but yeah. The right now, in terms of belts right now, though it looks very cheap, this is not a knock against New Japan. It's supposed to look like a rough belt anyway in the first place. The Never Openweight title definitely is like the belt everyone's wanting to gun for.
I'm gonna have to eventually catch up on New Japan. I sort of miss it.
I mean, you're not missing out too much right now. I feel the current feuds are okay. I feel like their momentum has slowed down because of the fumble of their current situations. There's some talents out there injured. There's still the loss of certain other talent. Plus whatever internal things are going on in the office right now. Plus, I feel like Ghetto's booking has definitely I don't know, decreased in quantity and quality. Where it's just like I feel like they're like he focuses way too much into his investments. So like Okada being one of them at the one point off with Okada. Now he's doing the same thing with Jay White right now. Like they're trying to give this guy like a mega push to the moon, which they did. And now Jay White, I felt like if he had this kind of swagger going into it like right now would have been amazing. But like the fact that like after they gave him these accolades and now he's bumped down to mid card, and Jay, if you've been watching his promos, his aftermatch promos right now, they're a lot more enjoyable than they were before. And I feel like if he had that going with him, I don't know, going into like the main event picture, then sure. But I feel like they're probably gonna say, well, like I don't think there's like a definite main event picture they have going on for them right now. Like I don't know, besides like a few of the main event slots where they had the anywhere from the 6-man tag match to 8-man tag match where they have like Okada featured in the matches, and I think he just recently finished up his feud with Sonata.
Okay.
And that's one guy I would love to see champion at one point, even if it's an Intercontinental champion, because like I feel like he's definitely long overdue compared to a lot of the other guys on the roster. I don't know why they're not giving him a mid card strap is beyond me, but I feel like this guy is owed something at some point.
Yeah.
Mm.
Eventually, hopefully that he'll get it. It's just a matter. I mean, I know every guy in Japan wants the belt. You know, they want to be recognized and they want to be like, yeah, you deserve it. You know, you're champion. You did all the work and everything. I guess it's just a matter of time playing out. Even though I know that Sonata has been working really, really hard, because even when Kenny was there and the Young Bucks was there, and I was watching New Japan mainly, all those guys worked so hard to tell their story, you know, to tell their feuds and everything.
Mm-hmm. And I think, and I think we're gonna see this a lot now because with them going back to the multi-year contracts, because it used to be, I think a lot of people missed out on this factoid that most of New Japan's roster was on 1-year deals, and I think that helped the company sustain a lot more. But now with the, especially with the, when obviously the OCs, AJ Styles, Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows, and Shinsuke leaving, they were afraid that,
Oh, they got shook up.
Yeah, they shook it up real quick. But I think they were surprised the fact that, I think more surprised, mainly out of the Young Bucks, because they thought those guys were gonna like tag along with them.
Yeah.
In terms of like a working arrangement, and I think they're gonna have a working arrangement down the road. But I think right now Ring of Honor is kind of watching ROH, seeing what their front office is doing, because, you know, with the fact that now that Access owns the U.S. rights for the New Japan shows, and that being a Impact controlled environment, and me knowing specifically, because I've come to understand this, that Ring of Honor and Impact's relationship is probably the most volatile, like toxic relationship you'll ever see.
Probably is.
I think New Japan is. I think that's the reason why a lot of I think if you notice, a lot of Ring of Honor shows now are a little bit more smaller, and they're now doing shows more in the Manhattan Center, which I know is it's slightly bigger than the Hammerstein, but it's like,
yeah, it is. It's slightly bigger. I've been there many times when Ring of Honor came to New York City, but lately they haven't been booking Ring of Honor shows at the Manhattan Center. Like even though I don't really keep up with Ring of Honor, and people, you know, if anyone is hearing this might think I'm hypocritical or whatever, because I'm like, hey, yeah, I used to go and whatnot, you know, but I don't see them booking much at Hammerstein or Manhattan Center. Like they're both in the same building. They tend to go more around the like 34th Street area, a little bit on the west side and stuff like that, but I rarely see anything on Twitter to be like, Ring of Honor is coming back to New York City. New York City used to be their staple, used to be their home. I have no idea what happened, other than I could just guess, you know, contract miscommunications or like bad blood or whatever. But, you know, if Ring of Honor ever gets to hear this, I do miss them. I really do.
yeah.
I miss them. You know, I wish that they could be here more.
I think what's happening is they're wanting now, because I have noticed they run more close to like the Baltimore and the Philadelphia area. I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna frequent those two areas a lot more in terms of like live events. I think for like big shows, I think next year they should do um the annual survival of the fittest tournament. I think honestly they need to like say like, hey, um we want to do this 2 night tournament. Like, I think they need to have, as much as I hate to say it, because I think by themselves right now, I think they're actually pretty good. Especially with the fact that their newest working relationship with IPW in England is really or 1PW, I think. No, it's IPW. Is really giving them a lot of help in terms of like they said that I think recently the Honor United tour that went through 3 cities in Europe was probably their best tour dates in recent memory, because when it's not ROH and CMLL, it's kind of like, oh, okay, these are younger guys. But I think a lot of fans are too busy looking at, Kenny Omega and the other shows. They forget those guys came through ROH to some degree. So I think they should give Ring of Honor a chance. But I do believe New Japan's gonna lessen their relationship. I think I think they're also gonna ease up on their CMLL relationship with New Japan as well, because it seems like they do less as Ring of Honor grows more into the United States. They're gonna want in on it, and I think they're not. I think it shouldn't happen. Honestly, there's no room to grow if you can't do it on your own.
That is true. They did grow great, and then once people kept leaving and signing new contracts to greener pastures, I think that's what it is. They still have like their core people there. They have like Dalton Castle and Matt Taven. I don't know what happened with the Kingdom, because that was a thing.
Still kind of a thing, but not really.
What happened? They're still there?
Still kind of a thing, but not really.
Oh, okay. Well, the Kingdom is there somewhere. The Briscoes are like born and bred Ring of Honor. They're not going anywhere else. I mean, like, I tend to watch Dalton Castle's Planet Peacock YouTube series, his vlogs. Again, not paid promotion for that. And they're very entertaining, so like I get my Ring of Honor updates through him, which is like super cool just to watch another wrestler who does vlogs and stuff. But I mean, I hope one day Ring of Honor does get back to where it once was, and it creates awesome homegrown talent, because the guys that we're seeing in WWE, the guys we're seeing in New Japan and AEW and TNA and even probably MLW, every one of those guys started in Ring of Honor no matter what. So I would like to see some more homegrown people, branch out, go to Ring of Honor, make it big, and then once again, I guess leave. I guess it's a never-ending cycle of wrestling,
Well, and the fact that one of my favorite new favorite people to watch, and it's mostly because I'm a stickler to his ring style, and that's Josh the Goods Woods. Him and Silas Young recently tagging up. I'm like, this is awesome. You got a technically sound submission artist in Josh Goodwoods, and then you got Silas Young, the most like manliest of men.
Yeah.
He's
Just
the last real man.
Tag teaming together.
I like
Look,
Silas.
Ring of Honor, I want you to listen to this. I don't care what you call them, but to me, they are the last serious men of Ring of Honor. Okay, they're the last men of honor. Boom. There's their tag team name.
Free plug. Free.
I guess, right? All right, I gotta record that down. That's an hour and 5 minutes in, so that way I know. To give them that. Does anybody else want to say some few words before we move on to AEW?
No.
All right, cool. We covered. I guess we covered all the Ring of Honor and everything. AEW is a lot to cover because I know we didn't do this on Tuesday, but I guess we can. Well, last Tuesday, really. I do just want to start talking about John Moxley. He's such a firecracker. And I don't know. We're gonna have like an unsanctioned match at Full Gear. Him versus Kenny Omega in a lights out match. Whoever wins, it does not matter because AEW is not going to be responsible for what these guys do to each other in the ring. Do you think that hurts the story, the competitors in the long run?
It's like a question mark on there.
I think it's gonna be one of those where it's gonna be like, it's a fresh concept for everybody right now because AEW is just like throwing in the wins and losses columns. Not everyone is used to this concept where there's like, oh yeah, it should matter, but now like it's actual like a sports statistic. Like you could probably take this on Pro Line, you know, make a gambling bet off of it based on wins and losses, but it's still like, you know, predetermined outcomes. Having that going in is just like, I mean, are they going to use this like to further their story a little bit? Like, are they going to have like a main show that they're going to, I guess, like, you know, finalize all this thing like a WrestleMania of some sort, as opposed to like, you know, using it for a title reign later down the line?
Which I think they're gonna do. I would honestly say because since they already technically had their WrestleMania with All Out this past month, 2 months ago, I think now is the question of what's gonna be your second biggest show besides Double or Nothing, because and all all out, because I honestly think they should have their second biggest show actually on the every year on the date that they formed AEW. Well, week of at least.
That'll be September
make
1st.
It format better. Well,
are we talking about when all out?
When it was officially announced to the public. So like the press conference was in like early, like the third week of January.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. But in terms of the John Moxley, which by the way, if anyone hasn't watched the promo that he did on AEW TV, go watch it. That was some intensity.
It was, yeah.
I think WWE can't match right now because obviously they have their hands full with the whole Fiend fiasco and trying to put a Band-Aid over it. More recently, which we will probably get into more next week, the Jordan Miles controversy.
Wait, hold on. Do you really want to go there? I mean, like, I say whatever I want.
I want to do like a deep dive into this situation in terms of that, but that,
How deep you want to go?
Yeah, like how deep you want to go, man. Because look, it's this is episode 4. I don't want to tank it, even though like we have our opinions here and there, but I don't want to tank it.
Oh no. Like it's just like a general like, just. I think next week, and I think this is healthy for all of us because we are fans, that we need to talk about like the state of like what is acceptable in a general census now, because I mean a lot of people have been getting in trouble this past year just for stepping on a lot of people's toes. So it's like a lot of the question is now, where's the fine line and where can we go with it? Like it
All
because
right.
it's society.
We will, okay, we'll do it next week. We'll see how this goes. We'll play it by ear. I would say that on this podcast, we'll play it by ear. Because, I mean, when it first all happened, I had some stuff to say, but I didn't put anything on Twitter. But I guess we could talk about it and see how we could try to help rather than being like all negative, because there's always two sides to two sides to every story. And I was just wondering if like Cornette put you up to that.
No, that's just like it was an interesting like kind like shocking kind of a thing.
Yes,
like,
it definitely was.
Just kind of came out of left field, out of nowhere, like an RKO out of. It just it really just threw me off.
It was,
like, I was like, okay,
it's gonna be super heavy, and I can definitely tell you that
it's gonna be intense.
Yeah, we might have to do it on a Monday because I work on next Tuesday. We could do that, so we could have you there. But you guys will listen to all that on the next podcast. Maybe we won't sugarcoat things, and if you guys get upset, oh well, we're not here to please everybody.
Just a disclaimer at the beginning of the thing. That's it.
Warning: you might get triggered. But
trigger warning, trigger noise.
That is a friendly disclaimer.
Yeah, warning, it's gonna get triggery. All right, enough of that. Let's go back to that John Moxley promo, which was explosive, and I think that's why we segued towards, Twitter, because Twitter is always freaking explosive. I'm gonna say it here on the podcast. I've never understood John Moxley / Dean Ambrose. Even when, he had his run in WWE, like, I never understood this guy. I never got behind him. I just know that he's there, and no matter what, I guess I'll be the one in the background to, like, support him and whatever he does, but I'm not gonna cheer or boo for him. When he came out with that promo, I'm still thinking about it now after watching it last night. I do not want his feud with Kenny to, like, end after Full Gear, and like every single intricate storyline that he has with Kenny and he has with Pac. I don't know if he has with Hangman yet, but like I just don't want to see him and Kenny's feud just end at Full Gear. Like whatever happens, but I still want some good fun sprinkled out.
Yeah, I could definitely agree with that. I think this is gonna be this match. Like, it definitely brings me back to a Dusty Rhodes Ric Flair, like the intensity that Dusty had when he came back from injury. He's like, you put hard times on the American Dream. You put hard times on the American Dream. And you're gonna hear it, but you're gonna hear it in a new way. In this case, the fact that Tony Khan is saying, like, look, this has gone far enough in terms of our legal obligation. You need to you could do this match if you want to, or you could just say, hey, scrap the match, and I could go wrestle someone else. But knowing John, and especially since now he's going into that second gear that I think we didn't see a lot in his WWE times. This is the second gear that he had when he was a part of the Switchblade conspiracy with Sami Callihan.
Oh.
This is that intensity, that hardcore death match, or as Jim Cornette would call it, the mud show wrestling. Yeah. I think we're gonna see for the first time, I think, the true test of toughness that Kenny has.
Yeah.
Because I think up till this point, and I might be mistaken, but I think he fought I can't think of his name on top of my head, but I had to.
Are you talking about recently? I mean, the only person he fought was like Joey Janela for like hardcore stuff.
Yeah, Joey Janela.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm talking like back in the his early days.
How far back are we going?
We're talking like the original like first 10 years of Ring of Honor. We're talking we're talking like Age of the Fall.
Oh, like when Jimmy Jacobs and Tyler Black was in there too.
I can't think of the Necro Butcher.
Oh,
there you go.
God,
Necro Butcher, I think only one time. And that was in his career. I think that was right before he did that whole big excursion into DDT wrestling and I think DDT wrestling only, but yeah, I think this is like gonna be his first real like touch and go moment with that type of wrestling.
Yeah. Plus now that, since you want to bring up that Kenny Omega versus Neko Butcher match, that was like when Kenny was like still, early in the business. Now he's like way super matured, and I think he'll be able to handle it. I just hope that, both guys wrestle or beat each other up safely. However this is going to happen, because I still want both of them around to make more stories and stuff like that. So I'd rather have like a nice, safe match, but still good.
I think we're gonna see it in the scale of what Randy Orton versus Mick Foley, in terms of that intensity, like minus the blood flow, because Mick Foley has paper skin for forehead.
Yeah, of course.
During that time, so I'm like, look, I love Kenny, but I don't want him looking like a bloody pork chop. Okay?
I really don't either, but Kenny will be okay. Which, by the way, Kenny came out in a Sans costume representing Undertale, which was nice.
I enjoyed that so much.
It was super nice. I was like, oh, this is so cool. I kind of marked out. One day I'll get around to playing Undertale. I just don't know how long that game is. Does anyone know how long the game is?
It's pretty long.
I don't know.
It's pretty long. Damn it.
Yeah.
Epik, have you tried it before?
Never have I ever.
Like 12 hours long?
I would say about depending on, there's two schools of thought. There's the passive, and then there's the murderous route. The murderous route is a little bit shorter, but the passive route, which is a lot more satisfying, is like about 9-10.
9-10 hours or days?
Hours.
That's not that bad, I guess.
That's like 3 days. That's like 2 or 3 days.
Well,
depending on your time.
I mean, like one day I'll play Undertale. All right, so I noticed that Jericho has a time machine, because when he was wearing that smooth-looking pumpkin blazer and his hair all done, he was like in his 30s. I was like, what is up with this Jericho? Like,
so happy.
Oh my God. Jericho's the best.
I think, and if anyone wants to obviously school me in this, by all means, hit me up on Twitter about that. But I like the evolution of from scarves to the vests that he started wearing towards the end of his last WWE run, and then to the jacket, the leather jacket, and scarves. Now it's leather jacket and custom made suits with designs on it. I'm like, he is the thriftiest man on earth.
He is.
He's gonna make everything look good.
He is, and then he does it like he takes years off his actual age, which is kind of cool.
He's a fine wine.
He is. He's definitely is. That's why
he's a fine bubbly.
There we go. Beat me to it. And do you guys feel like it's getting ridiculous whenever something happens and it's like a 15-minute fame thing and they automatically make T-shirts for people to buy? Because the newest limited edition T-shirt is the I've got a ticket T-shirt. Do you guys think that in the end that kind of hurts the so-called T-shirt company?
Not really.
Yeah, I think it'll just sell regardless.
It'd sell regardless because, I mean, I think when you look at it this way, this is a They're making shirts for promotion. Like the average amount of shirts that Ring of Honor and Impact Wrestling has is about 35 to 45 designs, and that's not including their Impact logo ones. So I think now we're seeing them fill out only two designs of there's only two shirt designs for AEW, and the rest is like, oh, this is all wrestler shirts.
Yeah.
This is good.
We have the Young Bucks designs and we have the newest Young Bucks, Elite shirt called BTE Story. I don't know if you guys saw the latest Halloween episode of Being the Elite.
I did. I enjoyed it.
Oh my god, that was so great from start to finish. That's like one of the best things that I ever saw. So little things like that, when that came out, they came out with the shirt. But anyway, did you guys get the chance to watch when they cut to this is still in AEW when Tony Schiavone and Cody are in the limo and Tony is reminiscing, a couple stories about his dad and all that. Did you guys feel that was a little too long to be taking the spot way too long, dude?
Yeah,
a little bit. I mean, it was on the dark.
No, it wasn't.
It was on the main show.
It was on the main show.
Oh, really?
It cut into the tag match where it was John Silver and his partner versus Rick and Morty.
Oh Lord.
Well, you had best friends come out as Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
So which was entertaining. It was nice.
We need to protect Orange Cassidy. He is a national treasure.
Okay? Yeah, he is.
Especially as Morty, okay? We're not.
Actually, he didn't dress up as Morty.
He dressed up as Rick. I'm like, I'm just saying he's.
He
must protect the good mahogany.
Yeah.
Okay. But I think the hands down the highlight of the show was besides last week's great quote of the year by Jim Ross saying, "Good God Almighty, they're gonna tear up the Dippin' Dots."
Oh yeah.
I was like, yes, the quote of the year.
Oh my god, yeah. And
I'm like, I showed my mom that. She's like, "Well, now I'm hungry for Dippin' Dots." I'm like,
oh my god,
this is influential advertising at its finest.
And Dippin' Dots contacted Cody to be like, hey, don't mess up any more spots. We'll give you your own Dippin' Dots flavor, which is Rocky Roads. I was like, oh, that's so funny, guys. So funny.
Nice.
I do want to mention that the match that Hangman had against Sammy Guevara, in which Hangman went over, I was like, that was a awesome match from start to finish. Both of those guys are great athletes inside the ring, and Hangman saying that he's now going to be doing cowboy shit because he challenged Pac, which is kind of cool. I like Pac being on AEW, being his mysterious self.
Being the bastard.
Yeah.
I love that character. And can I say the fact that they're booking him so strong with that submission hold, Rings of Saturn submission hold. I never seen anyone literally pass out from a Rings of Saturn move like that, the way Pac did to Kenny.
Yeah.
It shocked a lot of people. I was like, whoa. That is...
He modified it. That's the only way you could pass out from that, if you modify it. Because, the original Rings of Saturn, you're on the canvas. So it's not like, you have enough room there to actually basically take the oxygen away from your opponent. So the way that Pac does it is totally different than anything else. And if you did not mention that was Rings of Saturn, I probably would have never remembered that, the name of it.
He has a new
Saturn,
name for it, which...
What happened?
Yeah, Perry Saturn, we love you.
Oh, yeah, I know. He's the originator.
We miss you.
Say hi to Moppy for us.
Yes.
Moppy.
Oh my god.
Moppy. You at home, you're gonna after you're gonna listen to this episode, you're gonna go, Moppy, and we're all gonna be there with you.
If someone comments that they said it in their dream, that's gonna be on you, Russ.
Okay, I take full responsibility for that. No, the maneuver is called the Brutalizer. That's what it's called.
For Pac.
For Pac's Ring of Saturn. It's called the Brutalizer.
Okay. Which makes perfect sense because he's the bastard.
Yes. Such a bastard he is.
If he ever hears this,
he's gonna yell at me.
He's gonna yell at all of us. He's gonna call us wankers and shit. Oh my god.
But I want to also briefly address. I think they found the perfect foothold for Jake Hager to enter in AEW in terms of like having his first match for them by taking out Dusty Rhodes during a promo segment.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're definitely gonna see, and I think it's a real safe bet. Only because of two reasons. Because Dustin really hadn't had a high profile match besides him and his brother, and the Young Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
But besides that, he needed a high profile match. I think this is a great transition to have not only the debut of Jake Hager come into AEW as a competitor, but also to improve Dustin's credibility as someone to pass the torch, so to speak, to the younger generation, because I mean he's gonna be there forever, but I don't see him like wrestling for the rest of his life. I mean, I think he's got a couple more years, definitely, and then he'll retire quietly.
Yeah, I can see that. He should, either retire quietly, or if he really wants to like stop wrestling, do a nice celebration and then just keep him in the back as an agent, helping out the younger guys, scouting people and stuff like that. because at the end of the day, every single wrestler is like, being a part of a family. So,
Yep.
that's what it is. So, Epic, is Sammy Guevara still not over with you as a heel?
It's gonna take some time. It's still an awkward transition for me.
I should probably send you like his vlogs, so that way you can understand more. Because it kind of ties in with everything that he does.
Yeah.
I might look into those later. I know he posts on YouTube. I know they kind of float around from time to time in my recommendations, but
Yeah.
I just don't care for him so much. I guess I should watch him though.
You can give a few episodes a try. It's not like I would highly suggest watching B&D Elite. That's super fun to always watch, and there's something different about it. With Sammy's vlogs, it's like a wrestling style, to get behind the scenes and stuff like that. Now he's doing little bits with Brandon Cutler about Brandon Cutler's coming in now and reminding Sammy that he took those Cody Rhodes knees to the gut. And, Sammy's like, yeah, dude, I remember that. Why you keep bringing it up? And Cutler just walks away, and then all of a sudden, you hear Sammy say, this is not canon, which I was like, what the hell? What is he trying to start? It's not canon. What do you mean it's not canon? And I think that we should start doing that in real life when you don't want to admit something. Just be like, that's not canon. It didn't happen.
Once we start gaming after this podcast, we could probably go into something like that. We should try it.
Yeah. But the big story for me, because I'm a big tag team guy.
Oh yeah,
finals of the AEW tag team title belts, tag team title tournament to determine the first ever AEW World Tag Team Champions. Fink, get out of here. Sorry.
Wait, you have a cat or a dog?
No, I'm doing that talking shop bit where
shit, man.
It's like Fink, get out of here. Shut up, Carl.
Fuck.
You're hole.
I was really like, oh my god, you have a pet. You named it Fink after like Finko. Oh my god, dude. I totally got hyped up for that shit.
No, I was genuinely excited about
shit, man.
The match between SCU and the Lucha Brothers. Those guys have wrestled each other. Actually, I've been looking all over the internet. They only wrestled each other in terms of the Christopher Daniels Kazarian combination only 4 times, and this match was actually the first time that Scorpio Sky and Kazarian in SCU faced off against Pentagon Jr. and his brother Phoenix.
Yeah.
It was a lucha fest, if I could say.
Yeah, it definitely was. Everything felt so smooth and everything. I was invested in it. Yeah.
Yeah, but that SCU later, I think out of all the times they used the SCU later, I think that maneuver in this match in particular was the best one they've done to date.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was so smooth. And when they showed the slow-mos, like on Twitter and everything, because people now know how to do GIFs, okay? I don't. I only know how to. I only know how to just put a PogChamp right in front of someone's face and just be like, PogChamp. Oh
my god.
No, I loved how watching it every time and just seeing one of the Lucha Brothers getting hit with it and just the slow motion, like you see their skin and everything just kind of like fold up with the impact. I'm like, wow, this is bonanza. And the fact that a lot of people said it's not the question of if, it's the question of when. in terms of like the core people in the elite, which many people would say SU is a part of the elite. It's not. As you said, it's not canon. It's not canon. All right.
Nope, not canon at all.
Nada.
Oh my god. Okay, so we're gonna run with this not canon thing. Thanks, Sammy.
Yeah, but I like that they chose them out of all the tag teams. Like, when I saw the brackets, I knew, like, as soon as I saw all the best friends were on there, I was like, if the best friends go to the finals, that's gonna put Jim Cornette in a heart attack.
Oh my god, yeah.
7. Like, and I love Jim Cornette. I love Jim Cornette. He's a historian like I am, in terms of like wanting to know more information about history, but sometimes in some cases he talks with his mouth, his foot in his mouth, like, and that's not a bad thing. Sometimes it just, sometimes, you know, you have an opinion, we all respect it. It's like, it's not our vibe.
Yeah, pretty much. People take it to heart seriously, and I'm just like, guys, calm down. You know, it's Cornette saying something.
Yeah,
That's
like,
kind of sad. We dismiss him.
he has valuable advice, but at the same time, you know, it's like, it's advice, and it's an opinion. Don't take it to heart.
He's just
Like,
another guy that yells at kids to get off his lawn.
Yeah, he probably does, dude.
Old man yells at cloud now.
He probably does.
But now that the Lucha Brothers are essentially on the back of the line, I have to wonder who's going to be the first tag team to face them. And honestly, because I actually like the idea of it, this being a rematch, I would like to see the tag team of Jack Evans and
Angelico.
Angelico go at it one more time, because they went at it at all Double or Nothing, and that was a really good match.
Yeah.
Like, I would definitely like to see that, but that's unless Christopher Daniels gets cleared for ring action again, then I would actually like to see the tandem of, and this might actually shock people because it's an interesting perspective, MJF and Cody, the Betterhood, as their nickname is on AEW t-shirt. Yeah,
Wow.
I think that would be a really good match.
Yeah, and I think that eventually that tag team's gonna form, and I'm waiting for the day that MJF does turn on Cody. MJF is getting better in his like rebuttals and his roasting and stuff like that, but I think he's slowly turning into a babyface. He's losing. He still has arrogance, but I think he was supposed to be a heel arrogance, right?
Yeah.
I think it's like,
By default.
Yeah, right.
I think what they're trying to do is what you know how, like, when you go to Disneyland and you go ride the Haunted Mansion ride, and you see the ghost spinning around in the kitchen. There's this thing called Pepper's Ghost, where it's like there's a light that shines on this mirror that goes through these mannequins, and then it projects what it's supposed to be. So if this is going to be the analogy of what wrestling's version of Pepper's Ghost is, we might see it a lot. We might see it a lot closer than we expect, but it won't be for a while. I think maybe towards Double or Nothing, we might see the turn. If I could pull out the crystal ball here for a minute and just say that, I think that would make sense.
It's gonna be a slow slow
Slow
turn.
burn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very slow.
Let's see. What else about AEW? Their dark matches are really good, even if they don't get TV exposure. And that's what wrestling Twitter needs to stop and, stop complaining about that. Like certain matches are not on national television. But either or, if you're gaining people on YouTube to watch AEW Dark, they're gonna come back again and they're gonna watch the on their cable provider. I just think that wrestling Twitter needs to calm down on a bunch of stuff with AEW because it's still new, and right now they're making, I would say, like 80% the right decisions because everything else is like a learning curve, but nothing bad so far. I always come on this podcast and I'm always like, WWE did this, and I don't want to talk about WWE because WWE did this and that. Now this episode is let's talk about WWE. Let's open with that, and let's talk about AEW halfway through the podcast. It changes, and I think people just want shit overnight rather than waiting for it to blossom.
Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of the people are a little bit over trying to compare it to WWE immediately because of the scale of the show, and I wouldn't. Like, I think in a more comparison, I think WWE did the smart move of making NXT face off against AEW because it's, even though AEW or NXT had like at least, I would say, 9 or 10 years head start for this for prime time on Wednesdays. You have a whole lot of people that were around during the WCW era and know how to work with prime time slots, and sometimes, and I tell people this, the fact that we're getting bonus matches to watch for free on YouTube says a lot. Like, they want you to watch Tuesday night or Wednesday night Dynamite every week.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that shouldn't be an issue. But if everyone's gonna whine about it, then you need to obviously look at yourself and go, hey, look, I need to get off Twitter for a bit.
Yeah, definitely. I do want to say that AEW does great with taking all the stupid criticism that wrestling Twitter would give them. But they only listen to a good handful that understands what AEW is doing, and understand their product. While everyone just whines and puts and pushes an agenda that AEW is not really pushing and whatnot. So I give them all the respect in the world to listen, but filter out like all the stupid shit that people say. And it's a lot. It's definitely a lot that they say, and most of my Twitter timeline is like negative shit, and I'm just like, oh my god, you guys need to stop. You guys really need to stop. AEW is one of a kind, and for a fact that AEW is not gonna leave no one behind. Like somebody, I forgot his name, but I tweeted, I like responded to him, but he had an interview with B Priestley, and she explained that she has a full-time contract with Stardom and has a part-time contract with AEW. What other wrestling promotion in the world will allow their superstar to do that? If she had signed with WWE, WWE would have been like, nope, you have to end this date with Stardom and you have to start with us. You can't work for any other promotion. AEW is giving the women and the men and whoever else they sign the freedom to still be a wrestler somewhere else and still collect the check somewhere else, even though they're getting a check from AEW. Like, it's, we live in a day and age where that doesn't really happen. And people want to complain about that.
Yeah. Um, I think people need to stop looking at it at AEW as and compare it um to the bigger shows. They need to look at it from the NXT perspective, because now that they're coming out of the shadow of, and a lot of people have said, with especially with the announcement that for the first time NXT is going to be a part of the Survivor Series card this year,
wow.
which is a big deal.
That is.
It you can now officially say, okay, the training wheels are off. AEW just finally had their training wheels off with this whole like 3 or 4 pay-per-view like stanza that they had this year, and now they're doing this and in the first 2 weeks of TV. Now the gloves are off. Now it's gonna be a game of one-upsmanship, which for the last 4 weeks before this before the ratings come out for tomorrow for yesterday's show.
Yeah.
um it'll be really interesting to watch like where the dynamic is, because if I know if I could be in the mind of Cody for a minute, because he's the one who's working with the Young Bucks and Kenny and Mr. Khan to the most. He's definitely analyzing both shows with a an intense way. So.
Yeah. So Gio and Epik, you guys want to add some final words for AEW?
Hmm?
Do you guys want to add anything onto AEW before we go to NWA Power?
No. I can't think of anything.
Why?
Huh?
No.
Is this silence canon? No, it's not canon.
Oh my god. You want to add anything, Epik? Anything that we missed or whatever?
I don't know. It might be. I don't know how long it'll go if I talk about it. That's a problem. But I mean, my personal opinion on the project right now is just like, it had a really great start, had good promise. I do feel like they're starting to lose the momentum. They're starting to slow down a little bit, in my personal opinion. I feel like there's too much focus into the main event scene, which is okay. And at the same time, it's like, okay, well, what are we doing about, we just recently crowned tag team champions. We're focusing on the main event. Then the women's division is just kind of there. Like, I mean, I think like the only time they've done women's matches so far is just like, they're slapping a whole bunch of women just to having fatal 4-ways or whatnot. I don't think they've had many one-on-one occasions.
They had one-on-one this past week, which was Hikaru Shida and I forgot the French girl's name. Her name was Shauna. They had a singles match, but most of the women are, aside from Nyla Rose versus Rio, which was on the main show, and Rio versus Britt Baker, the other girls have wrestled on AEW Dark.
Yeah, and I've watched most of those, and like, I know they're trying to put a lot of emphasis right now on pushing Emi Sakura right now, which again I feel is okay, and I think I've touched up on this on one of the previous podcasts. It's just like it's cool you want to push your Japanese talent in a way, but yet push your local talent at the same time. Like right now, all their international talent are getting a push. So Emi Sakura is getting that push. Riho's their champion. B Priestley, who's still with Stardom right now and still their Stardom World Champion, is getting that highlight thing with Britt Baker.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They also have Jamie Hayter came in last week. She had her singles match, and then in the back when she was gonna get interviewed, Brandy came out of nowhere to attack her. And then if you guys saw the promo of Brandy, she's summoning Awesome Kong. So there's more weight in the works for what's gonna be happening with the women's division.
And right now, looking at the roster right now, besides the obviously the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, there you go. Yeah, five Japanese talent that work for Stardom and Ice Ribbon. I forgot about that. They work for Ice Ribbon, and the fact that Bea Priestley is still working for Stardom, though there is a lot of rumors that their New Year's show, Bea Priestley is supposedly going to be dropping the title, as it was a tradition with the AJ Styles match with the I think it wasn't a New Year's, but it was I think it was a house show, but it's around that time, so it makes sense. And I actually I think especially with Leva Bates, I think being honestly the one that has the most screen time, I'm surprised they haven't like put her in a serious spot. Like, I mean, I understand like she wants to be like the fun loving person librarian gimmick, but you know, it only goes so far.
Yeah, it is. It's only gonna go so far.
Maybe she'll break out of it and go back to her roots.
Yeah, probably. I'm still gonna mark out for her as Blue Pants. I'm still gonna do that.
She'll always be Blue Plants to me.
Yeah. All right, AlphaRuss, take us into NWA Power. Hello?
I'm here.
I know you're here.
Russ!
Where are you?
Sorry, I was chugging water.
Oh!
You scared for a minute.
I was
trick or treat.
All right. Take us into NWA Power, please.
All right, so this week's NWA Power, there's only two key things that I'm finding very interesting out of the whole show right now, and that's the fact that this week they concentrated a little bit more on not only the NWA World Heavyweight title, the 10 pounds of gold, and the National Heavyweight title, or as I'm referring to it as the red strap, and of course the women's division, of course, which I want to talk about first because one of my favorite women's wrestlers in recent memory. Not because she chopped a fan trying to do an interview with her wearing a Sammy Guevara shirt. Sorry, Sammy, it's all canon. But Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa made a debut after a match that Marie Bell and I can't remember Ashley Mox. It was a good matchup. Marty Bell lost to a roll up. The roll up.
Yeah.
But it was interesting how they introduced Thunder Rosa. She literally charged past the winner of the match. You would think she would attack the winner of the match and then go to Marie Bell, but she just charged right past her and then got into the ring and then offered her hand. And as she's offering her hands, the drums in her promo just started going boom, 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 boom,
Yeah,
boom, boom,
I
boom,
thought
boom,
that was
boom,
pretty
boom.
interesting. I was like, what?
I was like, that's weird. But I think that's definitely going to throw a spanner into Marie Bell. I like Marie. I love Marie Bell. She's a very great women's talent, and definitely a good. Actually, not. Let me rephrase that. A great get for the NWA because she has a lot of talent in the athletic department. Mm, it goes beyond the looks, really. A lot of people's thought that the fact that the WWE when they did the Mae Young Classic kind of dropped the ball with her, and I agree, with her or with everything about that because I honestly thought Marie Bell should have been in the finals.
Mm-hmm.
But the Dominican goddess that she is, she's a very good wrestler. For those who haven't seen her wrestle, I recommend go watch Marie Bell wrestle on YouTube or wherever her matches are available. But also introducing Thunder Rosa into this, into already a nice roster so far of women.
Yeah.
It really does put a spanner on who's going to be the women's champion for NWA, especially with Sienna, who has been extremely established with the NWA and and TNA, of course, when she was Impact champion for the women's division for about almost, I think, a year and a half. But I'm excited because this is a different Sienna. I think we're used to seeing because she's been known as the just like the killer, just to like reach for the belt.
Yeah.
But now she's the women's champion. Allison Kay, I should say, that's her name. I keep calling her by her TNA name. But it's definitely interesting to see what's gonna come out of this. Um,
Uh, I, I've always enjoyed NWA Power. There's something cool about it with its old school, new school kind of mixed with it. Um,
mm-hmm.
I did find it interesting that Nick Aldis wanted to give Ricky Starks a shot, right? Am I saying this right?
Ricky Starks, yes,
Yeah, right.
I
Because he
think
was
so.
like, I want to give that dude a shot one day and whatnot. The opening segment of Nick Aldis coming out, Cole Cabana coming out, and Eli Drake was it? Yeah, Eli Drake just popped out of
Eli
nowhere,
Drake.
man. Yeah.
The
And
Eli Drake's a mystery right now
he
because
is.
I'm fine. I think I think they're gonna use Eli Drake as kind of like the if it's not the question of if it's gonna happen because I think the next champion is gonna be Eli Drake. Um,
So you think?
it's the question of when.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna be like, so you think Colt is not gonna get the 10 pounds of gold?
No,
Oh hell no.
so there was a lot of
Oh my God.
confusion. There was a lot of confusion in the match. So what was the match was it's a 6-man tag team, which it
Yeah.
was the
Um,
NWA national champions
James
um
Storm
James
with
Storm and the Wild Cards.
yeah.
They were gonna go against Ken Anderson, Colt Cabana, and Nick Aldis. And if Team Aldis wins, Colt Cabana gets a NWA National Heavyweight Championship match. And if James Storm wins, he not only does he get he has to drop the NWA National Heavyweight title, but in order to receive the NWA World Heavyweight title, which it brought a lot of confusion to people And I think a little
Yeah.
bit to a degree to Jim Cornette, because he was trying so hard to like say it straight, but he kept botching it a little bit the first 2 minutes of the match. And then like as they were going through it, I was like, okay, I think he finally gets what's on the line here.
Yeah, that was confusing me too.
Yeah. I love that 6-man. That was a great 6-man.
Yeah, it really was.
Really fit into TV time with plenty to spare. It was like, I think this week's episode was 54,
something like that.
54 minutes, I think it was, for this week's episode. But I love the show. It's 52 minutes. Okay, so they had like 6 or 8 minutes to spare.
Yeah, which is not bad.
Which being episode 1 being 58 minutes.
Yeah.
Episode 3 was 48-26, and then I think they said episode 2 was 56 minutes. Okay, so it's interesting how they're doing these matches, because they're very fast paced, but they're also like fast paced in a safe way.
Definitely. Gio, what did you say?
Oh, like I think the timing of like the show start to finish very each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Overall, I do enjoy that it's in a studio setting with a small audience. Even though it could get a little weird at times, because I'm like, I want to see a bigger audience. I don't know. That's just me. But again, I love the old school mixed with new school, and it's a breath of fresh air for how they're taking this in the direction that it is. Any final words?
Happy Halloween. I hope everyone had a safe one. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for the NWA right now. 10 pounds of gold. It's getting hotter.
Yeah. Epik, you want to say any final words?
Check your candy. Check out for needles, razor blades, unnecessary pills, mixtapes.
Hey, my mixtape is fire, okay?
Are you sure?
We'll talk about that.
Are you sure it's canon?
Hold on, let me ask Sammy. Sammy, is it canon?
He's not saying anything.
He's telling me F off. No, it's not.
Well, he's only telling you F off because you're not part of the inner circle, man.
It's an exclusive group.
I got Jericho the bubbly. I got him the bubbly.
Yeah, I mean, I had some bubbly yesterday, so I was part of that.
Oh man.
All right, this has been a great episode. I know we went a little bit longer than usual, but it just felt right. This episode is canon, and this is episode 4 of the Square Circle podcast, hosted by Marie Shadows, and once again joined by AlphaRuss, Epik, and Gio. We wish everybody a happy Halloween. You guys might hear this in a couple of days, but either way, stay safe and continue to stay safe. If you like this podcast, make sure to listen to it. Listen to this on Anchor, on Spotify, YouTube. We are now on Google, Apple, and some other ones, which I should probably put down in the description below. But make sure to subscribe on our YouTube channel to know when we go live. And maybe later down the line we can have more engagement and stuff like that. We'll make it more fun. The meantime, we are just 4 awesome people talking about wrestling, and we also game too. So
yes.
Our next podcast will probably take place on Monday. We will try to cover the Jordan Miles thing and any other type of wrestling. But until then, thank you guys for tuning in and listening, and we'll see you on Monday.
See you Monday.
Bye.
Later, guys.
That'll be a beautiful time.